Okay, hey, it looks like we're on. We're on just a couple minutes early so we can get the sound check and everything out of the way. This is the Gamer Seuss Twitch channel, and we're doing the Game Time with Doc and Lurch. We do this every Tuesday from 8 to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're part of Eclectic Endeavors, the people that put on the Gaming Arts Media Entertainment Expo, the Picnic at the End of the Universe, Game Time at Holdfast Brewing Company, and other game-type activities and nerdy activities throughout the Ozarks area. Lurch here is the co-chair this year of GAME, as well as the director of electronic gaming, and I am the cross-promotions director, as well as director of panels. So if you'd like to do a panel at the convention, get a hold of me. We've still got some slots open for panels, and if you want to know anything having to do with the electronic gaming, definitely talk to Lurch, because he is our console guru. And he puts on quite an electronic section, and most of the game systems are actually his. He's got a lot of the retro machines too. Anyway, we're going to do a sound check real quick, which is the reason we logged on a couple minutes early, although it is now 8 o'clock. So check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2.
Checkity check check. Beep beep. Checkity check check. I don't need this.
Got it. All right. Hey, sounding good. We have mostly a media-centric show for you today because we got so much going on in media, and there is a few topics, mainly on Lurch's side of things. So I'm going to hang back and just kind of comment on his topics until we get into the media section, because there's just so much media going on this week. This was a very busy week for media, and this week's going to be pretty hefty too, because like last week we had The Flash and Superman and Lois both had part 1 of their 2-part finales, and this week will be part 2 of their 2-part finales for their seasons. So we're going to be doing that. We had the last episode of Obi-Wan. We had the 3rd episode of Miss Marvel. We had another episode of The Boys. We had the 3rd season of Umbrella Academy came out.
Yeah.
We had.
Have you finished watching the 3rd season of Umbrella Academy?
No,
yet?
I'm just at the last episode of the 2nd season of a rewatch, so that I can come in clean. So we're not going to talk much about Umbrella Academy, which is okay because we got so much other stuff to talk about. We could save it.
I'm not going to talk about the content about Umbrella Academy, but I want to say that I'm curious if there's going to be a 4th season. I don't know if there will be or not. Right. Netflix hasn't announced whether they will or not.
Yeah, they haven't renewed it for it yet.
Yeah, and that's normal. They don't normally renew things until like a month or 2 after it releases, so they can see like what kind of viewership it gets. And
they got to get their numbers in. They got to get their version of the rushes in.
But what's interesting is this now, like this 3rd season finishes out the books. So now if they do another season, it'll be
all new content.
It'll be all new content that's not covered in the books.
Right, and that'll really add to the experience, I think, the whole new content stuff. And I'd be interested to see what they do with the whole new content, because I like what they're doing so far. Yeah.
And I'll say one more thing. I appreciate how the makers over there at Netflix worked with Elliot Page.
Yeah, I just even found out about that today.
Yeah, they let Elliot have their character have a transition.
And I haven't even seen how they did it yet, but I heard that they did it from Allison, because I got her stuck on the show too.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not as stuck on that as I got her stuck on Downtown Abbey, but because that's the other thing. Peacock just dropped Downtown Abbey, the movie, the New Era movie is now on Peacock to stream, not just in theaters, which is why I went back and I'm rewatching all the seasons of Downtown Abbey too. And Downtown Abbey is a great British show, British drama. Starring Maggie Smith, among other people, who's probably most well known nowadays as Professor McGonagall in the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
But she
I've never,
plays the
I've never, I've
Dowager.
never seen Downtown Abbey. I don't know much
Oh,
about it, but
it, it
uh,
it's a British drama about aristocrat's house, he's married to an American woman, and it's about him and his children and his servants and them as they go through. The first and second season they're kind of going through World War II, and then the Spanish plague. Uh,
shit.
and stuff. It's how they are handling that, and it's not sci-fi or anything, but it is British drama, and it's got a lot of really good acting in it, and you really get to bond with the characters, and
Yeah.
that's a show of a good show. It doesn't always have to be about huge special effects and superpowers and stuff. Sometimes it's just got to be a really good story, and that's what Downtown Abbey is. It's a really good
Gotcha.
story. Um, anyway, we're going to get on with the getting on of our business here, and that means we're going to go into Lurch's topics. But just as a reminder for those of you who are planning to go to the Gaming Arts Media Entertainment Expo, it is October 14th, 15th, and 16th at the Springfield Expo Center. And for only $10, you'll get in for the entire weekend. So $10, you get a boatload of fun. It is our final game, so you kind of want to go to this landmark event because we're not going to be doing another game. It's retiring after this year, and that's why we've got it down to just $10. We're trying to just cover our costs, and then anything extra will get donated to charity, and we're still looking at possible charities in the area. Um, but we want it to kind of be something local, smaller, not a great big charity where ours would be just a drop in the bucket, and we're looking for something that is more nerd related if we can do it because we like to support the nerdy
Yeah.
arts and everything. Um, but we're still taking like suggestions and stuff like that too. If you join Eclectic Endeavors on Facebook, you can get in on the discussion for things like that. Uh, anyway, we're going to go to the first topic I have set up here for Lurch, which is the Every Gamer trailer for Nintendo Direct Mini, the
Yeah.
partner showcase for June.
So early this morning, Nintendo had what they called a Nintendo Direct Mini partner showcase.
That's
So
up to
they're
the
showing
minute if
up,
it's early this morning.
huh?
That's pretty up to the minute if it was early this morning.
Yeah. So I just kind of want to go over a little bit of I just kind of want to go over real quick what they showed at today's Direct. It was, I feel like overall, one of the better Directs, especially for it being a Direct Mini partner showcase, showing what third-party developers are working on and coming out over the next like 7 months, 6 or 7 months, because they focus mainly on games coming out in 2022. So, or updates for games, such as the Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. They put out a trailer for the DLC, basically, for Monster Hunter Rise, which it looks really cool. I don't know enough about this particular Monster Hunter to tell you much about what they're updating, but they put out the trailer for this so that you can get an idea of what the next DLC, and I think it was all free DLC, unless I was mistaken, unless I'm misremembering.
I played one of the Monster Hunters on the PlayStation 4,
Yeah.
but I only got so far till it got to where you needed to do something with other people, and I just never could get a group together to do it. And
It sucks.
so I just never got any further because
Ye-
I wanted to play it more solo, and
yeah.
it kind of mandated that you do a little bit with other people.
That's kind of my trouble with Monster Hunter now. Like, I played Monster Hunter World for quite a bit. I probably
Right,
put in around 100 hours into it, but I was playing with a group of people.
right.
But you know, those group of people. One of them was my brother, who doesn't game as much as he used to. Um, and then and then a former friend of mine, and he and I are no longer in touch after some issues with him, being not very good at being a husband or father to his family, things like that. So,
A falling out.
well,
Yes.
yeah, so we had a falling out over that, and so like my main folks that I played online all the time with back then, because we would, and my brother was always like very social and was really good at like getting other people to join. So if we needed 4 people or whatever for any game we were playing, he was the guy that was able to organize these kinds of sessions. But since I'm not hanging out with them, most of my online multiplayer is 2 players. And Monster Hunter, my experience anyway, works really well with 3 or 4 players.
Yeah. And well, and
Um,
there was a quest. Basically, you couldn't really go forward until you did this one thing in the one I played. And I don't remember which Monster Hunter title it was, but uh, you had to do something as a group, and I always played it solo. And I like, well, I want to play, but I don't want to go
if,
find a bunch of randos just to do this quest. I want to
if,
go do
if,
it.
if it was on PlayStation 4, it was most likely Monster Hunter World,
Yeah, I think
which
it
is
was.
the same one that I played. And it
Yeah,
was a lot of fun. I had a really good time with it. I'm
yeah,
glad that
and
this
it
one's
was.
getting some more content.
It was seeming like it was a lot of fun. I just couldn't go any further without having other people, and I wanted to do the
Yeah.
whole thing solo.
It is pretty great. Like, if you can get a co-op group together, it is pretty fun because you're trying to coordinate and be like, I got the sleeping stuff and I got the net and, I'm chopping at his
Oh,
tail and
yeah.
it just comes together so well.
I just like to go through things at least initially by myself,
Yeah.
and then I'll do some co-op, but I'm not a hardcore co-op person. I
Yeah.
play Fractured with my sister and sometimes my girlfriend, but
Yeah.
and I like playing that with them. But I don't go with a big group of people to a lot of things. I like to be able to free to do stuff myself when I want to, and
Yeah.
so mandating that I have to do it with other people kind of turned me off.
Well, moving on from that, they announced that Nier Automata is coming to Nintendo Switch. Um, with this new The End of Yora edition. I don't know what Yora means, but I think this is a Platinum developed game, a high action game that is getting a Nintendo Switch version at last. It's been out on other platforms for a few years now. A new game that was revealed was Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. This one looked really neat. It has it's like a puzzle mystery game with the graphics look like sometimes the graphics kind of look like PS1 era, but in HD, but it's got like some blurriness to it or whatever. Being developed by Annapurna, which I think is also the same company that publishes the Stray game that's coming out with the cat. But yeah, you're solving some sort of a murder mystery with I don't really know what's going on, but that's kind of what you want out of a mystery game, right?
It's got a lot
But
of noir feeling to it.
yeah, yeah, it has a really cool aesthetic to it. It looks like it's gonna be probably kind of a slower paced game, but it's very intriguing.
Looks like something
Uh,
that Greg would like.
yeah,
Very
yeah,
much
probably,
in line with stuff that Greg likes to run.
yeah. Our next game is Super Bomberman R2, which something that was kind of crazy. This new Superman or Super Bomberman game, they showed there is a mode where you can have 15 players working together against a single player. And the other player gets like special abilities with like a tower defense kind of mechanisms.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to defend themselves from the other 15 players that are coming at them with their bombs to try to blast them away. Sounds like a
So
pretty interesting multiplayer dynamic there to have 15 versus 1.
yeah, right.
So that one could be pretty cool. I'm not a huge Bomberman fan, but I've had my fun with it.
Like
So
a variation on a tower defense kind of format is always kind of neat.
yeah. Here's a really big one for my buddy Angel. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. These were like Game Boy Advance and It was like Game Boy Advance, and Nintendo DS games, and they're putting out all 10 of them on Nintendo Switch, which Angel is absolutely thrilled about. It's got like, unlike other Mega Man games, this one has like a grid battle system where you're fighting each other. It's more like an RPG than a traditional Mega Man game.
Right, that's what it
Oh,
looks like.
yeah. It looks pretty cool. I've never played them, but Angel swears that these are his favorite Mega Man games. So I will absolutely be giving this one a try.
Yeah, if nothing else, just to appease Angel when he says, "Okay, come on, play."
He's recently. It's funny because he's been recently shopping at retro stores, picking up old Game Boy versions of these games, and now he can get them all at one package on the Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
All right, our next game, Pac-Man World Repack, which is a remake of an old school game, which I believe was originally on the Xbox, like the old school Xbox.
I would know because I didn't do Xbox, but I love Pac-Man games that this don't
Yeah.
look familiar, so it might have been an
Uh, oh,
Xbox game.
oh, it was a PS1 game. I just looked it up,
Huh.
so it's even older. It was 1999,
Yeah, I didn't have this one.
and so yeah, it's coming out. It's a 3D adventure game, like a Crash
Oh,
Bandicoot type
the
of a
game
thing.
was Pac-Man World. Repack is just the new name for it.
Yeah.
Pac-Man World. I did play Pac-Man World. I played this on
Okay.
PlayStation 1. It was interesting.
Yeah.
It's like a fully 3D Pac-Man.
Yeah. The family's been kidnapped,
Mhm.
and you got to
It's
go through this whole 3D
in this
adventure.
in the same spirit as like the Mario and Bowser games where they started getting more and more. Oh, we kidnap somebody, comes rescue us. Full 3D world.
Yeah. The gameplay system seems kind of like a Crash Bandicoot game to me.
Yeah, it had similar elements to Crash Bandicoot and Spyro and things like
Yeah.
that. Very
Yeah.
much
So
an action 3D.
I only got to play like a demo of the original game. You know, when you're a kid, you have to be very picky and choosy about what you beg your parents to pick up for you. So I never got to play this on the old days. So this one looks pretty fun to me. This next game, Blanc, looks great. I love the look of this Blanc game. So you play as a deer and a fox who are trying to like survive together in this what seems to be a snowy environment. Everything's all got this like
In a
grayscale
total
color scheme.
black and white pencil drawing world.
Yeah, it looks like it's all drawn in pencil.
Yeah,
It uses, the environment. It's got environmental puzzles to solve with using these two characters and their individual traits, trying to survive together. It looks cute as hell, and it looks like
it
it's gonna
does
be
look
fun.
looks very much like something artsy. Very good.
Yeah, like it's like an artsy Fox and the Hound
Right.
game. I don't know if it's. I think it's a co-op game too. I think it's got two-player co-op, and so that could be a good
So
one to
you can
play
play the
with Allie.
fox and the hound. Yeah. One of you plays the
Um,
fox, the other play the hound,
the wolf, or not the wolf, the fox and the deer.
and the deer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hind. Yeah.
The next game is a sequel to the what is it, Escape from Monkey Island
Yeah.
and Secret of Monkey Island. I think were the two games, and now we've got Return to Monkey Island, which is it's been like 20 plus years since the last game came out. It's being made by the same guy who made the original games, like the lead designer. They got some new art designs. I've never played the old Monkey Island games, but I know that they are highly regarded as being hilarious. So I'm kind of tempted to go back and try to play the original two games and then get into this one.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really neat. So if you're a Monkey Island fan, you know what you're getting into with Return to
It's
Monkey
got
Island.
that. What's that art style? It's very Samurai Jack kind of art.
Yeah, I think so. Everyone looks like they're made of like paper mache,
Right.
but it beautifully done paper mache.
Yeah. Not South Park. More like I said, more Samurai Jack kind of.
Yeah, yeah. Then we got some new information on Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, the sequel to Mario and Rabbids. It's a real-time strategy game. They showed some gameplay footage for it this time around. They first revealed this game last June, and now they're showing some gameplay footage, and comes out this October. I gotta say, it looks pretty good. I don't know yet if it's gonna sell for me yet, but I bought the first one and I never got around to playing it. It's I don't know.
It's so many games, so little time.
yeah, exactly. But it looks like it's a pretty solid game for the type of game.
Well, I mean, the Rabbids was a pretty big franchise, and then Mario's a big franchise. Bringing the two together,
yeah,
you'd think that you'd get a lot of cooperative fans.
Yeah. Well, my thought was, well, that's a good way to sell the game, but is the gameplay good? But apparently, the gameplay on the first game was actually really good, and this game is apparently improving upon those things. The next game they showed was Little Noah Scion of Paradise, which I am trying to remember more about this one. It was, oh yeah, it's like was it a fighting RPG? Casual roguelike. That's what it is. It's a casual roguelike with, it describes it with adorable vibes. And it's available right now. It came out today. I don't know if we were told in advance that this game was coming, but it shadow dropped today.
Is it just me, or I'm getting almost flavors of Shinobi in this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting almost flavors of Shinobi kind of gameplay in this.
That was that old Sega Dreamcast game, right? Shinobi?
Well, it was on PlayStation and stuff too, but
yeah,
Shinobi was a side-scroller ninja combat game that had like some cutscene levels where you did things like shuriken toss and stuff like that, but
yeah,
you would jump and swing.
I never got to play that one.
Yeah, this is giving me like vibes of Shinobi. It's like Shinobi meets Mario side scrollers. Well, Shinobi was a side scroller too, but yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of it seems like similar to those two games. You know, regular like a Mario game, because this part here where they're running through that dungeon and avoiding like spike balls and stuff is totally out of Mario.
Yeah.
and hitting things with your head and stuff, headbutting stuff with jumps and stuff. That's total Mario. And then the swinging of the sword and the jump slashing and stuff is very Shinobi.
Yeah. So I'm gonna move on to the next game. We got Railgrade, which is like a railroad developing game. Like you're building a railroad system.
Okay, so it's Ticket to Ride, the video game.
Yeah, it's kind of like Ticket to Ride, the video game, but you like building tracks all over the place.
Yeah, a little bit more detailed. It's more like Virtual Railroad.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about like the specifics on what your objective is, other than I guess it says something about helping grow an industrial town using this rail system that you design and build.
I like the graphic detail is pretty awesome for the railroad.
Yeah, the graphic detail is pretty sweet.
It is. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of railroad games, but I do like the look of these locomotives and stuff. And
yeah, like I don't play things like SimCity or Roller Coaster Tycoon, and I won't probably play Railgrade.
They bore me too. I don't even play frickin' Minecraft.
But for people who are into trains and SimCity type of games or Roller Coaster Tycoon type of games, this is definitely something for them to check out.
So Sheldon Cooper would like it.
Oh my God, Sheldon Cooper would lose his mind over this game.
He loves trains.
Yeah.
And then,
This next game looks really neat to me. RPG Time: The Legend of Wright. It's an RPG game that's like inside of a storybook, and everything looks, hand drawn.
it's like a
With
flip book.
yeah, and it looked really neat to me. It's something I want to try to give a shot. I'm hoping there's.
It's
I can't
a, it's
remember
a,
if they said there was going to be a demo or not.
it's like a
I,
colored pencil sketch book. Well, no, in black,
yeah,
but it doesn't. I don't know if there's colored pencil. Yeah, I guess there's some colors and some not colored.
yeah. And so there's like going to be various like tools to use, like writing utensils and erasers and stuff that make changes for like solving puzzles and stuff. It looks like a very unique experience that I want to give a shot.
Different.
Yeah.
A notebook RPG. It's different.
For sure. And then our next thing they showed was some new Sonic Frontiers footage, which the best part about the footage they showed on this trailer was other environments besides this grassy knoll shit that we've been seeing over and over again. They showed some like Green Hill Zone stuff and a couple other spots. So we get to see that there's actually going to be more environments than just this one. Because it was looking like everything was going to be like Breath of the
Samey.
Wild kind of a world, but no, there's gonna be more zones, more areas. And also I've been listening to podcasters and people who had a chance to play like demos of this game, and
Mm-hmm.
they say that this game has a lot more action to it in combat than you would expect from a Sonic game. And it's more fun to play than what you get out of the footage that you see. So that's very promising. I'm a
This
fan of
footage is pretty good right here. So
yeah. So I'm a fan of Sonic games. You're still seeing some of the Green Hill Zone and other areas.
well,
Uh,
and
so
Sonic's is going to get a huge resurgence in popularity anyway with the Sonic movies
yeah.
and then the TV series that's coming out.
So I'm gonna give this game a try. I'm hoping it's good. I don't expect it to be great. I just hope it to be good. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, moving on from there, Disney Dreamlight Valley, which basically is a Disney version of Animal Crossing. Familiar with Animal Crossing and what that is?
Yeah,
It's like
I've got friends that play it.
yeah, so I've never played it, but I've seen enough to get an idea of what the game is. This is basically the same game, but it's
Scrooge McDuck.
Disney.
I saw
So you're
Scrooge
like,
McDuck.
yeah,
Uncle
you got you
Scrooge.
got you got Scar from the Lion King just chilling in the grass.
You know the new
Um,
Scrooge McDuck cartoon series. David Tennant does the voice of Scrooge.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's this for people who like Animal Crossing and Disney. Bam, get them onto this game. Um, I'm not a big fan of this style of game myself, but I bet you this thing is gonna sell crazy.
just for the tie-in to the different movie franchises and stuff. Kids are gonna
Yeah,
love it just because they're gonna get to play with, like you said, Scar from Lion King
yeah.
and all of that. They're gonna like it just for that. Then you got
This
what
next, yeah, this next,
Treehouse.
yeah, this, well, no, this next game, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. If it's Live Alive or Live Alive or Live Alive, Live Alive. I'm not sure which.
The trouble is, live and live are spelled the same.
Yeah, exactly. So there's four possible ways of pronouncing this game title. I don't know which one's right. This game came out in I think the very early '90s, but only in Japan for like the Super Famicom or something like that. Like it was a Japanese only game, and they're finally translating it to English, and they remade it in 2.5D, 2.5 HD, and it looks beautiful. It looks fun. I've seen it in a few different places. This is just kind of another reminder that it's coming soon, and the demo is available to play today, which I think they said the demo is about 3 hours long, and will the save data from the demo will transfer to the full-size game.
Yeah, transferable save data is what it says at the bottom there.
So it's an RPG game with, like, I think 8 different time periods that you're playing in. So you're playing like 8 different characters in 8 different time periods. And somehow things kind of all come together. I don't know.
It reminds me some of earlier Zelda type games.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a Chrono Trigger sort of a game.
Chrono Trigger, Zelda.
Yeah,
Even
like I said,
mid-level Final Fantasy before it got super graphic.
Yeah, like I said, I think this was a Super Famicom game, like a Japanese Super Nintendo.
Right.
If I remember correctly, but since I never had a chance to see it in the States, but there are people that are like really thrilled about this because apparently it was a super phenomenal game that we were missing out on here in the States. So I'm glad that we're getting this, and I'm gonna have to try out that demo soon.
40-minute trailer they've got for this one.
This isn't the footage that they showed at the showcase. This is footage that's been put out separately that's showing a lot of it.
But yeah, it's like 40 minutes of it, so I had to skip through it. We couldn't watch the whole thing.
The next game is called Doraemon Story of Seasons, Friends of the Great Kingdom. I don't know what to say about this one. It sounds like it's just like a really silly Animal Crossing type of game where you're farming and shit, like you're growing a farm. That's what this whole game is. It's not my thing.
Yeah. Very simple, cartoony kind of graphics. Yeah. Doesn't look like something I would be. But for kids, little kids especially, this might be fun.
Yeah, this seems like a little kid's game to me, but hey, if you're an adult that enjoys it, have fun. I don't mind.
And if you're looking for a title for your smaller kids, this might be something for you.
Yeah, it's a non-violent game about farming.
Yeah, very family friendly.
Yeah.
And obviously originally out of Japan because they've got a lot of it in Japanese.
Yeah. Minecraft Legends is our next game. It was, which we've seen this a little bit before. It is not so much about building. This is like an adventure game in the Minecraft world.
It's Minecraft the RPG. It's like Minecraft and MMO.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and move on past that one pretty quickly. The next one after that is Dragon Quest Treasures, which is like a spin-off game of the Dragon Quest franchise. Sorry, coming out this December 9th. Oh my gosh, I got hiccups.
Very anime style.
The Dragon Quest games are very anime style. I've not played them. I think I just recently bought one on sale though. But it looks like it's a game about like getting monsters to help you get more monsters and grow and strength or whatever.
Very Pokemon, Digimon kind of.
Yeah.
Capture pets to fight for you with you, aid you.
That's kind of the impression I'm getting from the trailer for this game.
So it looks like.
I got from the trailer for this game, yeah.
Iconic. Hey, yeah, that looked like a Charizard.
The next game is Captain Velvet Meteor, the Jump Plus Dimension, and I'm gonna admit I don't remember this one. The heck is this game?
It's another one with.
I'm kind of skipping through this really quickly, and I cannot. This doesn't even look familiar to me. I think I might have been like checking out. Supposedly it was.
It's another one with a kid type of artwork.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and move on to the next item. Portal Companion Collection. The first 2 Portal games are coming to, well, the only 2 Portal games are coming to Nintendo Switch today.
And Portal's a big franchise. A lot of people like Portal.
Yeah, and they both it came out today. It launches today. If you don't know Portal,
It's a
play it.
first
First
person
person
shooter.
puzzle. Yeah, sort of a shooter with the fact that your only gun is a portal gun. It's all
Right.
about solving puzzles using the portal gun. Freaking brilliant game. Um, this next one was interesting. Harvestella. It's like it seems to be some sort of a farming type of game,
With
but
the word
then it gets
harvest in the name, you would think so.
yeah, but then it gets like suddenly really dark. It's like you've got
Ooh, I like the
you know,
artwork.
it's like use the four seasons to grow your farm or your harvest. Spring, summer, fall, then winter, and then the fifth season, the season of death.
I mean, like the
like, so,
artwork and stuff looks pretty neat,
yeah, and
but
so
then it
like halfway through, it then suddenly gets really dark, and there's like a meteor hitting the Earth or whatever
and then it
planet this
suddenly
is.
looks like Final Fantasy 14 or something.
Yeah, and uh, and you're trying to survive during this quietest season, which apparently brings ruin and destruction and death and um,
Monsters.
probably monsters and stuff. Yeah, I'm,
So you
I'm,
build up, then you have a combat season. Then you build up, then you
yeah,
have a combat season.
yeah, yeah. I guess I'm a little bit confused by this trailer. Not gonna
Like I
lie.
said, it gives me like vibes of Final Fantasy 14 ish kind of
Yeah,
way
it's like
combined with Farmville.
they took two completely different games and just smushed them together and like here's a game.
It's Farmville meets Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Then Persona 3. Okay, so new
Okay, yeah.
Persona.
Yeah, so the Persona games are coming into the Switch. Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal are all coming to Nintendo Switch. The first of them being Persona 5 Royal, which I believe was this October, and then they don't have dates for the other two yet. And if I remember right, I believe it's the same date that Xbox is getting Persona 5 Royal as well, because that was recently announced at the Xbox Showcase. Um, so
Then,
these games are finally going to be playable on platforms that are not PlayStation.
right. And then we're going to do.
And I
That's
think
the
that's
full
it.
present. The rest
Yeah,
is the full
yeah,
presentation. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Well, we
Well, that's the
spent
end of it.
quite a bit of time on that one. That one was a long one.
Yeah, it was a long one.
Okay. And then I'm just going to take a minute then and talk about Downtown Abbey before we go into
Okay.
yours, because that's kind of my from the vault this week. Good thing it's got a lid, huh? Downtown Abbey is a British melodrama. Let's call it a melodrama. It's not a soap opera. It's not a comedy, but it is a drama. It's a historical piece that happens, like I said, during like World War II and the Spanish flu and everything. And it's featured around an aristocratic family in a part of England called Downton, and these are the people that live in the Abbey, which is a big four-story estate with servants and everything, and it follows both the life of the aristocrats and the servants as they go through things, and they go through war, and they go through turning the Abbey into a temporary medical recovery center, and it goes through the marriages and life and death of the different characters, and you really get to like bond. And the reason that I picked this time to be my vault kind of thing is because the new era Downtown Abbey movie just dropped on Peacock. It's been in theaters for a little bit, but you can now watch it on Peacock without having to go to the theaters. And I'm going to watch the new movie. I haven't yet because I wanted to go ahead and rewatch the whole series first. Because it's Downtown Abbey, the new era. It's supposed to continue the story from sometime after the TV series left off. And there were like 4 or 5 seasons or something of Downtown Abbey. Um, and it's really draws you in. As I was saying at the beginning of the show, one of the feature characters, she's not in every episode or anything, is Maggie Smith, the Dowager. So basically, the Lord's mother is played by Maggie Smith, who is Professor McGonagall in Harry Potter, and was Wendy Darling in the movie Hook, and she's been in just about everything where you need an elderly British actress. She's like one of your go-to people to call. Another interesting thing is when you see her opposite, the wife Cora's mother. So the grandmother, the American's grandmother, is Shirley MacLaine. And so you get Shirley MacLaine doing verbal repartee with Maggie Smith, which is great. Two great actresses, one British, one American, and their repartee is just for people who really like good thespian presentations, good acting for the sake of acting, and not something that's held up just by a bunch of special effects and camera work. This is a show that's worth it. And I'm pretty much of that opinion with a lot of the British offerings out there. I mean, American TV and stuff is great, and we're great at the flashy special effects. But the British know how to tell a compelling story. I mean, British comedy and British sci-fi is great because any fan of Doctor Who will tell you, any fan of the IT crowd will tell you, they know comedy and they know stuff, but they also know melodrama. And this is also getting me in the mood to possibly watch like Broadchurch, which stars David Tennant after he left Doctor Who. So I kind of want to watch that too. But if you get a chance, it's all available on Peacock. So if you have Peacock, you can watch Downtown Abbey. And I think there's a couple other places you can watch it as well. But it is available on Peacock. And then after you watch the series, go ahead and watch the New Era. That's what I'm going to do. And I'll give a report on the New Era movie after I've seen it. But I just kind of wanted to do a real quick shout out to Downtown Abbey. Give us a break before we go into your next topic.
Sure.
And that's the equivalent of my From the Vault this week, because I didn't prep a big Vault offering, but this is what I've been watching this week. Other than all the other media stuff I had to watch just to stay up to date.
Yeah.
Because this is like I said, there's a lot of media stuff going on in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But we're going to go ahead now and go on to your next topic, which is the Mighty Thor. Jane Foster joins Marvel's Avengers today.
Yep. As of today, Jane Foster as Thor is playable in the Avengers video game. She has a lot of similarities, as you'd expect, to Thor Odinson, but there's some differences in her play style. I haven't had a chance to play her yet. She came out today, and after work, I had to eat and get ready for this podcast, so I haven't had time to actually play with her yet. But I'll be doing that here in the next few days. Trying her out and see what I think of her. I'm a big fan of the Avengers game. So I just wanted to let people know, of course, this timed on purpose to coincide with the Thor Love and Thunder movie, which comes out in a little over a week. I've got my tickets already to see Love and Thunder. So I just wanted to make a quick mention about her now being available. So we're now, since the base set has released, we've gotten Black Panther, Spider-Man, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, and now Jane Foster. So 5 additions to the game. And also, for those people out there who are enjoying the Miss Marvel TV series, who haven't had a chance to play, who haven't played this game, I would recommend it because this game does a really great job of showing the comic book accurate Miss Marvel.
Nice.
And it makes her a really likable character in this game.
And I can't wait till we cover that this week because that was a good episode.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just want to make a quick mention of that. Also, I wanted to make a quick call out about some news that just broke this week about Overwatch 2. Do you ever play the Overwatch games? Probably not. They're a
No.
multiplayer game. Um, Overwatch 2 is going to replace Overwatch 1. So when Overwatch 2 comes out, Overwatch 1 won't be playable anymore.
Which
They're like,
happens sometimes. Yeah.
yeah, they're like migrating in Overwatch 1 into Overwatch 2, which is kind of odd, but I guess they're worried that the games are going to be too similar and people will split
They'll
up the
compete with
player
each
base.
other. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Not only
and
that, but they don't want to necessarily keep the servers up for both.
yeah, and then there, and for game preservation reasons, I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, I get it from a business side. Something else that's interesting is Overwatch 2 is going to be a 5 versus 5 games, whereas Overwatch 1 was 6 versus 6.
Hmm.
So, like, if people are like in a group of 6 and they're accustomed to playing together as groups of 6, one of their people are gonna have to sit out for the new game.
Right. Oh, but
And then, do
well,
you want me to go ahead and go into the Ninja Turtles thing, or did you want to do something else first?
yeah, we're gonna switch over to that. So let me close out this
Okay.
video real quick here. And like I said, though, some game companies do that partly because they don't want to compete with themselves, but also partly because they don't want to keep both sets of servers up and be paying for the legacy servers.
Yeah.
They want to repurpose those servers and put the new code in and just,
Well,
just
I mean,
support
it's
one set.
Activision Blizzard. They want to do what's going to make them the most money. So
Right.
moving everyone into one spot. Anyway, so TMNT Shredder's Revenge just came out a few days ago, and it's day one on Game Pass, or you can pay $25 for the game on any platform. Angel and I played through this on Saturday. We did the story mode, which took us about 3 hours to get through on normal difficulty. I was Leo, he was Mikey, and we both loved it. The whole 3 hours, we were having a great time playing this game. There's also arcade mode, and I'm gonna play through. The story mode with like all the different characters because this was a really fun game. It's a beautiful beat 'em up game. It harkens back to like the '90s era of beat 'em ups, but it does something interesting that's a little different. Like as you gain points, you kind of level up. Every so many points that you earn in the game earns you like extra health or a new super ability or something like that. So your character gets gradually stronger over the course of the game. So while you're encountering tougher and tougher fights, you're also getting gradually stronger and stronger along the way.
And it
Which is
totally harkens back to the old cabinet
oh
video
yes,
games.
yes,
It totally has that look.
yeah, absolutely. It's got
But playable Shredder? I mean,
play
playable Splinter?
yeah, playable Splinter. Oh wow, playable Splinter, playable Casey Jones, and playable April O'Neil. So there's 7 total.
Nice.
There's 7 total playable characters. If I remember correctly, you can do up to 6 players co-op. When you like add in like online multiplayer and everything, I'm pretty sure you can do up to 6 players cooperatively. And 7 playable characters. Casey Jones isn't playable until after you've beat the story mode at least once. Then he becomes a
So he's
playable
an
character.
unlock.
Yeah, he's an unlock.
Nice, though.
Um,
It's very
yeah,
much in the same spirit as like Turtles in Time and
yes.
stuff. And I loved Turtles in Time. I think
Mm-hmm.
I've mentioned that before when we've mentioned that game on this show. Turtles in
Yeah.
Time was one of my favorite of the old cabinet games.
If you love Turtles in Time, you are gonna love this game because it is so much modern Turtles in Time, like mostly modern. It
Nice.
still keeps quite a lot of the
Noise.
classic tropes of those era. Um, it was a beautiful experience to play through. Um,
And I would
uh, and
play Michelangelo or Donatello then.
yeah, yeah,
Because those are my boys.
yeah. So I'm definitely I'm gonna play more and more of this. This is so much fun. I'm gonna try to not play it all at once. I'm gonna try to like do it as I'm gonna try to keep playing it primarily co-op. So I played it, with Angel the other day where I was Leo and he was Mikey. I want to try to do co-op again where I'm playing a different character, and whether I'm playing co-op with him or with another friend or other friends.
I'll have to come over
You
and
know,
play
I feel like this.
sometime.
Yeah, I want to try to do more co-op with this with people because I feel like that's where these kinds of games really shine is in their co-opness. You know, just kind of
Yeah,
bullshitting and fighting bad guys together. It is so
yeah.
fun.
I'll have to come over and play with you sometime or something because obviously I'm not going to be able to get the game myself, but I don't even know if I'm ever even going to plug my PlayStation back
Well,
in.
it says it's cross-play compatible, so if you like got it on the Switch or something,
I don't have a Switch
then
either, so yeah.
oh crap, I thought you had a Switch.
Nope.
Um,
No, I don't
so
own a
yeah,
Switch.
yeah, I played it on Xbox One. Angel played it on Xbox Series S, and then it's supposed to be cross-play compatible. So if someone were to buy it on the Switch or the PlayStation, with
Yeah,
the PlayStation
if I was
system,
to
they should
get
be
it,
able
I
to
would
join
get
with
it
it.
on a PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
If I was to get it, or I'd get it
So
as PC, but I doubt it. If I got a
yeah. So,
PC, I could do it, but I might
so
just
it's
have to come over to your place and play it
yeah.
sometime.
So it's a $25 game if you buy it. But I was figuring if it's day one Game Pass, I might as well make use of this service, right? And
Right?
play it on there. But after since we finished it or since we beat it and played it or whatever, Angelo said we were talking today and he was saying that he thinks he might go ahead and buy it anyway on the PlayStation, so
Hmm.
he can get PlayStation trophies in addition to his Xbox achievements.
Right?
just just double up on the playthrough of it because of how much he was enjoying it.
Yeah, it's not a PlayStation Now game, I take it.
No, no, it's not on PlayStation. Well, PlayStation Now service has ended.
It's
Now it's
PlayStation Super PlayStation Plus, yeah.
yeah, it's PlayStation Plus. Let's see, there's PlayStation Plus Essentials, PlayStation Plus Extra, and then PlayStation Plus Premium.
Yeah, and
Which
this isn't even available on premium, probably.
no, it's not.
Right.
It's not available on Premium. Which I was talking before about getting Premium Ace right away, but I'll be getting Premium with my next paycheck whenever I get
I
paid again.
technically have premium right now because they upgraded me because my
Yeah,
earliest upgrade came through, and although I canceled both upgrades since one went through uh, because one of them's still going.
yeah,
I have it until that one runs out, and
gotcha.
then all my cancellations will come through, and then I won't have it anymore.
You know,
But
actually, if you got Game Pass, you could
yeah,
play this game on other devices. Like it's playable on like PCs and
right.
mobile devices and stuff through Game Pass because
Yeah,
it's
but I
cloud
don't have
compatible too.
I don't have Game Pass though because
Yeah,
I don't do Xbox. So,
yeah,
but this game is one I would be tempted to just go ahead and just get because
yeah,
I love Turtles in Time
yeah.
and
I mean, if
so
I didn't already have it on Game Pass, I definitely would have purchased this game.
right.
Um, I'm not sure which platform I would have bought it on, but I definitely would have bought it.
You would have got a version.
Yeah, I would have bought it on one of them,
Oh
one of the
yeah.
consoles.
Even
So
when the new bosses show up, I even love that. It's exactly like out of Turtles in Time.
yeah.
That's so cool. Okay. Let's see what's next on the agenda here. Okay, we're going to talk about the finale for Obi-Wan Kenobi. First
All right.
off, we're going to go ahead and say Qui-Gon Jinn.
Spoilers
Okay,
at this point.
yes. Spoilers.
Yep.
From this point on, spoilers. If I can breathe. If you have not watched any of this week's episodes of things that we're talking about, stop the video now, go watch them, and come back. You can go to Gamer Seuss on YouTube and look at the Game Time playlist. And usually I put these up within a week of us broadcasting. Then you can watch them again. And then you can pick up where you left off and watch the rest of this. But anyway, Obi-Wan Kenobi. First off, the big exciting thing is he finally got visited by Qui-Gon Jinn's ghost. His Jedi ghost finally showed up. that was one of the things. And of course, Liam Neeson did play the character. That's one of the things I love about
Yeah.
this series is that you got Ewan McGregor and you got Liam Neeson. You're getting the people that actually were in the movies playing their characters. It's not some
There,
substitutions.
there for a while, I was worried that Qui-Gon was going to ghost Obi-Wan.
Right?
He
Yeah,
never answered his
the
messages.
ghost was going to ghost him. That's right.
Yeah. Boo his bad dad joke.
We actually also get to finally see young Luke.
We saw a little bit of young
Just
Luke in a
tiny
previous
bit. Well,
episode. Yeah,
yeah,
a tiny bit.
but we finally got to see a little bit more of young Luke, and of course
Yeah.
Leia comes, comes of age a little bit early in this.
So so this episode starts off with Obi-Wan and Leia and other like rebels or whatever
The
they call
rebels.
themselves. I
Let's call
forget.
them the rebels.
Trying to fleeing, and they're getting shot at by Darth Vader's ship,
Right.
and Obi-Wan then realizes he needs to distract them from everybody, and so he, against Leia's wishes, he takes and everyone else's wishes, frankly, he takes like an escape pod or a small fighter ship or something like that,
And he takes
and
Lulu with him.
flies off separate from the rest of the ship, and it's kind of to get this great moment on the destroyer because Vader's like, follow Kenobi. That ship, it's got to be Obi-Wan Kenobi. Follow him. And then the Grand Inquisitor is like, surely, Vader, you don't really mean we are going to just pull away from pursuing this entire rebel, forces. We could take
For
them out
one
in a
Jedi.
single, just for one single Jedi. He's like, he's not just a Kenobi. He's not an ordinary Jedi. It's Kenobi. Follow Kenobi.
So,
And so they continue to pursue him, and then Vader gets in his own little ship and flies down, and lands for a face-to-face confrontation of just Vader and Obi-Wan. He wants to confront him one-on-one. And we get an amazing battle between Vader and Obi-Wan, right?
It is worthy of the movies. It's a great battle.
Yeah. We get a part where Vader clearly has the high ground, which I verbally expressed. I was like, "Oh shit, Vader's got the high ground!" Like Obi-Wan's kind of down in a hole area with Vader up on the top of this hill.
Yep, and the high ground is usually a massive advantage in a battle.
Yeah. And then Vader like buries him under stone and rubble.
But then Obi-Wan wakes to his full Jedi potential again, and
yeah, he starts like thinking about Leia and the time he spent with Leia and other things, and starting to like remember like love and compassion and tapping into his full potential in the light side of the Force, and is able to break himself free from this rebel, to come back at Vader again and continue fighting. And it is so great because they're doing a mixture of sword, saber battling with force powers and making rocks hit each other and stuff. It comes together so well.
only a Jedi should be able to battle.
Yeah.
This is what makes it a Jedi battle, not just a sword fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes you think of when Yoda fought Darth Sidious. I mean, these are some great battles. Because the Yoda versus Darth Sidious battle was the other most anticipated battle of all time. And now this. And it was great.
And we kind of climax at this point where Obi-Wan is like using the Force to lift up like a whole bunch of large rocks and then flinging them all at Vader so rapidly, and it's like damaging his cybernetic arms and stuff. And I can't remember if it was a stone or the saber that busted open his helmet, so you can see.
I don't recall either.
So you can see Anakin's left eye, and you see the hatred in his eyes, from that cut in it. And Obi-Wan sees, the pain and hatred and the scarring of his face.
Yeah, and Hayden Christensen loved doing that scene.
Yeah. with Obi-Wan having won the battle, he can't bring himself to kill him. And there's this great line, and I can't remember exactly what the line was, but Obi-Wan tries to apologize for it, and he's like I'm sorry, Anakin, or whatever, and he's like I'm not Anakin. I killed Anakin years ago, or whatever. Like Vader is declaring, I killed Anakin years ago. There's only Darth Vader now.
Talking about killing that part of his own psyche. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was totally a self-actualization that I am not and have not been Anakin for a while. I am Vader, which in some ways frees Obi-Wan to do what he does, but
Obi-Wan
is still
Obi-Wan can't bring himself to deal the killing blow to Vader.
Who was his friend?
Leaves him there. Oh yeah, I mean I can't blame him really because of how close they were, like brothers.
They were like brothers, and Obi is a good guy. He's a white hat, and white hats in these kind of things don't kill the black hats. Especially the fallen black hats.
The Jedis have done plenty of killing over the years, but it's not like they're out to kill.
But the feature ones generally don't. Plus, there's always the thing is whenever you kill a Jedi or a Sith Lord, either one, strike me down and I will come back more powerful than you ever imagined.
Yeah.
So there's some danger in striking them down. You might be better off just defeating them.
So, some people might feel like that makes him a compliant in Vader's destruction of other people later. But I mean, come on, it's his brother, man. He raised this guy.
That's like trying to blame the time traveler for not killing Hitler as a baby.
Yeah.
You just can't kill Hitler as a baby. He hasn't done the things yet, and there's always room for redemption.
Yeah. Really, if you think about it, Obi-Wan was... He calls him a brother, but Obi-Wan was more of a father to Anakin.
Well, yeah, because he was his teacher.
So anyone who feels like it doesn't make sense for Obi-Wan to not kill him, be like, no matter how... imagine your child is, a killer, someone that's monstrous. Would you be able to kill your own child despite how much destruction and trouble they've caused?
Right.
And I don't think most
good parents couldn't. Yeah. Well, let me rephrase. No good parent could. I mean,
so
life imprisonment maybe, but you couldn't take the life of your own child.
Yeah.
And that's just it. Is Anakin in a lot of ways was Obi-Wan's adoptive child because they lived together and trained together and broke bread together and done everything together for years until Anakin fell.
Yeah. And so after while this is going on, while Vader and Obi-Wan are having their duel, Reva makes it to Tatooine and makes her way to Owen's farm to go after Luke. And I forget how... Oh, someone in town warns Owen about Reva's arrival.
Mm-hmm.
And so Owen and his wife, I forget Owen...
Yeah, I can't remember her name either.
Yeah. They try to prepare to defend themselves from Reva, and Reva shows up at nightfall or whatever, and they have their whole little encounter, and she's still wounded from Vader stabbing her, so she's struggling to stand while she's beating up Owen. And then Luke runs off into the desert, and Obi-Wan senses that Luke's in danger, and so he hurries back to try to help Luke. And Reva chases Luke through the desert, and then what happens? I think somehow Luke gets knocked unconscious. Did he fall? Hit his head? Did she hit him? I forget what. But Reva gets a chance to try to strike him down to kill him, and then she stops and starts like having flashbacks of Anakin in the temple, the Jedi temple, stabbing her and the other kids, and she can't bring herself to kill Luke to continue that cycle, and so she backs off, and actually she ends up carrying an unconscious Luke back to the farm, back to his adopted parents.
Yeah.
While Obi-Wan shows up.
Yeah,
and they have a little chat, and it's about it's not about what she's done or who she was. It's about what she chooses to do now, or something like that.
You get that contrition and redemption moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much. This is a great episode. It's an excellent 6-episode series. It's only 6 episodes. Go ahead and watch it if you got Disney Plus, and who doesn't nowadays. Go ahead and watch it through. One a day. You'll get it done in a week if you can hold yourself to just one a day. Most people are gonna just go ahead and binge it anyway, so you might as well just get it over with. Grab some popcorn, get a soda, and just get it over with. You'll be glad you did. We're gonna move on now, though. Until the next installment of something like that comes up. Our next big one is CWverse, very busy this week. Because we had Superman and Lois come back this week for part 1 of the 2-part season finale. And we had The Flash with part 1 of their 2-part season finale. So we're in season finale mode in the Arrowverse. And it's getting intense. I rewatched them both today, so they're fresh in my mind. I did my normal thing of rewatching. And so, first off, we're going to start with Superman and Lois. When we last left Superman and Lois, of course, Superman had basically no powers. He had been drained pretty much dry by Allie Alston. And Allie had then gone into the place between the worlds and is pulling the worlds together using Superman's stored solar energy. So Superman is healing, but he's healing human slow, and his cells are not absorbing solar energy. And I mean, he comes back to the farm and he actually stumbles just even walking up the steps, which scares the shit out of the kids. Jordan and Jonathan you can tell they're like, "Wait, that's not our dad. He don't stumble."
Yeah.
And there's so he wants to go talk to the hologram of his mother to see if his mother can help him out. But Jordan's like, "I don't know if I can fly him up there because what if I drop him and I still don't know how to land, and in Dad's current condition, I might kill him." It's and there's Lois is quickly, "Nope, you don't have to do it. We'll get John Henry to do it." And so he shows up over at John Henry's, and there John and Nat are discussing Allie Alston's powers and trying to figure out how she absorbs energy, because there was no open relays or broken connectors or something to suit, but she was still able to drain John Henry's suit and the hammer. And so they're trying to figure out how her powers work so they can defend against it. And then John Henry's like, or maybe we got to come up with a new offense. And then he goes and answers the door, and there's Clark. And he flies Clark over to the Fortress of Solitude. And there they talk to the hologram of his mother. And she basically says that his cells have been completely drained of solar energy, and that they've been damaged so that they're not absorbing right. And so until the damage is healed, they're not going to absorb solar energy like they used to. And it could be as slow as when he first got his powers when he first came to Earth. And Clark mentions that he was 4 years old before he got his powers. So that means it could take up to 4 years or more for him to get his powers back, is the fear. And they ain't got 4 years. Nope. And then, what's her name? Chrissy, the newspaper partner with Lois. I think her name's Chrissy. Is going
I think so.
She's going to reveal the story to Smallville because, of course, she believes in the newspaper's job to report the news, not to curate it. And Lois is like, yeah, but you can't cause a panic. And Lois's father's like, nope, you got to put a gag order on her. But Lois backs Chrissy up, but instead they go to Lana so that they can let Lana reveal it first as mayor of the town. So she calls a town meeting at the school gym to tell everybody, because at this time Allie is broadcasting over the airwaves how she's going to bring the worlds together. And if they're looking up in the sky, they're seeing a red square sun in the sky across from our sun.
Yeah.
The yellow sun. And I'm like, what the hell? And the DOD is trying to say it's like some kind of a after image effect, kind of like that classic weather balloon story they always did for Area 51 and shit. I was like, it was gas reflecting off a weather balloon. No, there's a freaking square sun in the sky. And nobody is believing Lana. And Lois is talking to Clark about, he's feeling all down because he's basically taking a sick day and he don't feel right doing it and stuff. And Lois is reminding him that Superman is more than just his powers, that he represents hope. And so he shows up at the meeting as Superman to back up Lois's story, to give her credibility, because nobody's believing Lois. They're like, nope, Superman will save us. You're just you're a fear monger, Lois, and blah blah blah, or Lana, and especially the ex-mayor, because he wants his job back. And so he's like attacking Lana and trying to excite the town to go up against Lana because she's saying this. And then Superman shows up and basically backs up Lana's story. And then everybody has to get out because Lana forget what her Lana Rose shows up. Talro's wife, Lana Rose. I couldn't remember her last name for a minute.
Yeah.
Lana Rose shows up.
I didn't realize where you were going, so I was like,
yeah.
Help. You're like,
Lana Rose and Jonathan L. show up. Because Lana Rose showed up and she had freed Jonathan from his imprisonment, and they show up. And so there's like a big battle, and Jordan ends up telling Lana and them to get out as they're being attacked. Yeah, and his eyes start to glow. Sarah sees that. And she also sees that her mother is not surprised by Jordan's eyes glowing.
He's telling them, he's like, you guys need to run. What are you going to do? I said
run! Yes. And so when they run, then Sarah confronts Lana, her mother. It's like, you knew that time when you said you took that walk. You didn't just take that walk. No, something changed. You were going to tell me something, and something stopped. And wait, this is when you found out, isn't it? And Lana's like, yep. Sarah put the pieces together pretty quick.
Yeah.
She's sharp.
I mean, she was suspicious because she was gone for 6 hours.
Right?
That wasn't a 6-hour-long walk you went on. Something happened, and that's how you found out.
She put one to one together, and she got to. She figured it out. And she's like, and you let me break up with him, and I would not have broke up with him if it, which shows that Sarah would have been more understanding of the fact that Jordan was hiding this kind of secret. You know, this is the kind of secret that she actually can understand him hiding. She hasn't said that yet, but that's what I'm anticipating for the next episode, that she's going to take it better than Lana took it when Clark told Lana. But then again, Jordan is also not held the secret as long from Sarah as Clark held it from Lana, when you really think about it. And not only that, but Lana was also being lied to by Lois, who had just befriended her, and that I heard, if anything, even more than Clark. So, but we got the big reveal finally that Sarah knows about Jordan now, and they had a big battle there, in which Jordan and John Henry won the battle, and Natalie, Jordan, John Henry, Natalie. Now, John Henry is also right now lost between the worlds. Trying to stop Allie.
John Henry went into the portal to try to stop Allie.
And lost
fired
contact.
A bunch of rockets at her, and then lost
radio
contact.
silence.
Yeah.
And Natalie is really worried, but she can't go in after him because, among other things, he left her responsible for protecting everybody else. And so she's now at the Kent farm and protecting the Kents. And acting as basically Jordan's backup. And I expect, we haven't seen it yet, but Tal Rowe is going to show back up probably in the next episode to help in some way. If it's just talking his altar's wife down or something, he's going to show up and do something to help, I think. Because we're still in a redemption arc for Tal Rowe. Before they finalize the season, I think they're going to do a little bit more. They may not get completely into his redemption arc, but I think they're going to progress him more towards redemption.
That's right. I keep forgetting that our Tal Rowe is still alive.
Yeah, because you mistakenly thought he had got drained dead.
Yeah, but that was the other Tal Rowe.
That was the other Tal Rowe, right.
Yeah.
Our Tal Rowe escaped barely with a little bit of his power left, which means that he's slightly more powerful than Superman, but he might still have the ability to recharge. Where Superman's damaged, he can't even recharge right now until he heals. Now, I was thinking too, and his mother's hologram was going to say a method that could possibly speed up the recharge, but it was dangerous. My anticipation would be something like X-Kryptonite. Because if X-Kryptonite can give a regular mortal Kryptonian powers, it might be enough to supercharge Kal-El's healing. But then the danger comes into just like regular Kryptonite did to his altar, making him a drug burnout. That's the danger of using something like X-Kryptonite. But as a one-off, just to maybe help heal his cells, the only other thing I can think of is maybe trying to fly him as close to the sun as possible to get concentrated solar energy. Like getting John Henry or Natalie to fly him up into the sun's ionosphere. Because that way he would get the most concentrated dose of yellow solar energy he could get without it being corrupted by the red solar energy of the square sun. But I don't know. We won't know that until this week's episode. So tomorrow morning I'll find out what they do next. And then we're supposed to get John Diggle in. Tomorrow's episode will be John Diggle, and it will be Lois's father explaining how Lois and Superman and Lois fits into the Arrowverse. So the fateful episode next week will finally, or tomorrow, this week's episode will tell us how we fit into the Arrowverse. Finally. because we're supposed to get a speech from Lois's father in this episode. They've previewed and said that in a couple of different places, but we're finally going to get to the speech, and we're supposed to reveal the villain for next season. So those are the big reveals we're waiting on tomorrow. Anything I leave out?
I don't think so. I think you got it pretty well covered on.
I rewatched them right before, so I get pretty good. Okay, next is The Flash, and in The Flash, of course, we're still dealing with Fast Track, which she gets named Fast Track in this episode when Barry calls her that. And the negative forces show up. So we see Dion, but we now realize that Dion is negative Dion. And that we also see negative Bashir and negative of, I forget what the strength seismic force name is. But we get negatives of all but Nora. Nora is notoriously missing because the negative speed force is missing, which is why the negative forces are incomplete. And what I think they're trying to do is recreate Reverse Flash, because he will become the negative speed force. And just like the others are the avatars of the positive versions of the four forces of the universe, we think that Eobard is going to be the negative speed force. Negative Nora is what he's going to turn into, which is why they're trying to kill Eobard Thawne, is because they're trying to get rid of all versions in order to free up the negative speed force. Okay, and then we have the battle now. While all this is going on, Cecile's powers are supercharging. She's gaining the ability to be a psychic powers vampire. She's sucking the psychic powers out of other psychics and then being able to use them, but at a higher degree than the original person can. And to prove, because she goes to Iron Heights Meta Ward and talks to the one psychic that's a really good telepath, who's in a meta dampening field, and they're talking, and she absorbs her telepathy. But after she absorbs it, freaking meta dampeners be damned, she can feel everybody in the freaking city. And she feels at that point that Barry's in trouble and she has to go. But the girl that she stole the power from a different meta who had the ability to cause vertigo. In fact, I think it was Vertigo, is the villain name for that villain that she took it from.
I think she's like Vertigo 2. Because I
Vertigo
know
2.
the original Vertigo in the DC television universe, CW-verse, was played by the guy who played the Devil in Constantine. And I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now, but that was the original Vertigo, but I think it's
she's Vertigo too. Yeah.
Yeah, they had the second Vertigo came along. I don't know if she's his daughter or if there's any relation at all, but
right. But she stole her powers when she was out patrolling, which got Joe all upset because he thought she was out working late. She was working late, patrolling. But so Cecile shows back up, and so we get a kind of a mega force coming together. Now, while all this is going on, Iris is in the far future with Nora and Bart. So Excess and Bart are there, and Iris shows up, and she's got the time sickness, and Nora tries to run her back to the past, and it's like hitting a brick wall, because it turns out that Iris's cells are totally impregnated with negative tachyons. negative tachyon particles are all through her system, and it's given her, among other things, speed visions of the forces in 2022. So she's she's in the future with Nora and Bart, but she's seeing visions of the negative forces as they fight Barry in 2022. And so Nora comes back without Iris in order to check with Dad, because if anybody can help Iris, it's Dad. And the dad of their time period is busy off-world or something. I don't remember what they said he was doing. And then it was neat because when Iris showed up, it says, "Doesn't Mom look young to you?"
Yeah. And
but
the Iris of their time period disappeared just before Iris of our period showed up.
Right, because they were on a conference call with her when
Yeah.
our Iris showed up. So anyway, Barry is trying to train Fast Track in the use of her powers, and she's trying to push herself too hard. And Barry has a heart-to-heart with her, and she says how she wants to be the hero because for the sake of Eobard. Because she really didn't do this to give herself power. She didn't want to be a speedster. She wanted to help the world by giving them metahuman abilities to heal and all that kind of thing. But she wanted to give the power to Eobard. And so now she has to live up to Eobard's potential. And so she's working harder because she doesn't think she can be the hero that Flash is. And Flash has to tell her she can be her. He goes so far as to show her that he's Barry Allen, that he's just a CSI, but he's also the fastest man on the planet. And can lap the world in 15 seconds, as she said. So then Eobard and her, which I can't think of her name, I'll call her Fast Track because that's her super.
I think, yeah.
Eobard and Fast Track are then confronted by the negative forces. And this is the first time we see negative Bashir and the other one. And they go to attack, and Barry comes in, and Dion turns and freezes Barry, but then Barry breaks out of it because his speed force is so concentrated. And he drives him off the first time. Then he goes and he teaches Eobard and Fast Track how to share speed powers, which he's done with Iris before. So he does know how it works. And he's not worried about Eobard going evil because just like how Eobard saved Fast Track from going evil by their love bond, their shared love bond will keep Eobard from going evil. And so the negative speed force won't turn them evil. And so now we've got the super team going on. We've got the three evil forces, the negative forces coming up. So we got to bring three B-listers in. So we got Cecile, Allegra, and Chester coming in as badasses. Like, a lot of people think, well, what fucking Chester do? He ain't got no superpowers.
I said that exactly. I was like, what the fuck is Chester gonna do?
But he is.
Shit,
But he is.
Sure.
He's like Gadget, man. You know, and he throws that reverse kinetic field generator on her, which basically means the more force that the basically Quake 2 tries to use, the more it keeps her in because of the fact that it takes and uses your own force against you. It's a reverse kinetic energy net, although he called it something different. I don't remember what exactly, but it's basically a reverse kinetics effect net. And then Bashir was going up against Allegra, so she's shooting her light beams at him, and he's bipping back and forth because he's all illusions and freaking phobias. And Cecile is using her power to keep Dion from snapping his fingers, which is how he has to activate his abilities.
Yeah,
So
she's somehow
she's
using
basically doing
telepathy to make his fingers not exist.
well, to freeze in place. They're like, he's like, he can't squeeze his finger to snap because she's holding him.
Yeah.
And while they're doing that, Barry's trying to get Eobard and Fast Track to share powers, and they do end up doing it. And then they come and take over, and he tells Eobard and Fast Track to keep them busy while he builds up. And so he goes on this long-ass run to build up his speed lightning, because he's going to shoot a massive speed lightning at them. And he comes running, and Iris, as a revelation, and she's like, oh, wait, no, that's not the sacrifice. Eobard's not the sacrifice. And just as he lets the lightning go, Dion gets to snap, and he snaps, and Iris appears in the path of the lightning so that Barry's lightning zaps Iris and makes her dissolve into the sparkles that happens with that time sickness. But then the sparkles shoot up in the air, zip around, and then zoom into Eobard. And then, in a total classic movie kind of moment, he reaches up, rips his face in half, and out underneath it is the Reverse Flash mask, the much more modern one, with the HG with the Wells
Person
face,
Wells face.
with the Wells
Yeah.
face, and the
Well,
evilness,
that was
like,
kind of violent of him
Yeah.
ripping off the Thawne
yeah,
face.
because he had the classic Thawne face, and he rips it, it's like, thanks for the resurrection, Flash, and then it's like cutscene, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god. So we know two things are going to happen probably in the next season. One, well, in the next episode, they're going to do something, and Reverse Flash is going to be the main villain. We don't know if he's going to survive to be the villain for next season or not, but they're probably going to try to end this Reverse Forces thing with Eobard, in that I have a feeling that part of the villain for the next season, I'm not going to say the final season because I hope it's not, is possibly going to be a supercharged Cecile gone bad, combined with the very last scene, which I forgot, which was Frost and, which was not Frost, but it was
Caitlin Snow.
and Frost's boyfriend, talking about still resurrecting Frost with his new technology, because what they're doing right now is activating her consciousness within Caitlin's subconscious, so she'll at least get Frost's voice back. Then they can work on making her a new body like they did the first time.
Yeah. I get
The worry here
I
is
get the feeling that they're going to be successful, except for it won't be the same Frost. It's going to be an evil Frost that will be a killer.
It will probably be this. It will be the same Frost. Unfortunately, the original voice of Frost in her head was Killer Frost, and she had to become good again. So we're going to start off with villain again, is what I'm thinking. So along the same lines as you. I'm thinking along the same track, because first, when she's just stuck in the subconscious of Caitlin, she's evil Frost. She's Killer Frost. And then she becomes Frost. And then she becomes Hellfrost.
Yeah. I mean, she never killed anyone. Like, she's supposed to be... She called herself Killer Frost. And even when she was a villain, she was never villainous enough to kill anybody.
But that might change when she comes back, because the part that died might be the part with any empathy.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And so that's going to be one of our villains next season, I'm pretty sure. And I think an evil version of Super Cecile, too, because Cecile is getting too powerful to stay on the good guy's side. She's got to get corrupted a little bit by the power of being such a supercharged meta. At least one episode of that, if not an arc. I think.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're pretty much done with the Flash.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, Okay, we've got the boys, uh, and we've got one of the biggest things from the comics that was a lot of people were waiting to see them interpret in the show came on, which was Herogasm, the big hero orgy convention kind of thing.
Yeah.
That was portrayed in this episode. Uh, and a lot of the critics said that they really loved it. People who were big fans of the comic. I didn't read the boys comic, so I'm not a huge uh, person to relate how accurate it is. Um, but from what I've heard from the other reviewers that were followers of the comics that this was based upon, uh, they were highly in praise of the Herogasm thread. Of course, we get Huey and Butcher taking V29 again, getting powers. Huey still can't bring his clothes when he teleports, so he still teleports nude. And he teleports Starlight with him once, so they both end up nude.
Yeah. I was gonna say that
Starlight is done with it in this. She gets so tired of everybody and compromising her values, she finally quits. She's like, "I'm no longer Starlight. My name's Annie January."
Yeah.
And
She has that moment at the very, very end of the episode. That's like the last scene.
She does she does a reveal video, and she basically outs Homelander as an asshole. She outs Vought as a corrupt corporation. She outs Soldier Boy as a deadly villain. She outs most supers as assholes and bitches. And she says, "I can't do it anymore. I quit. And my name is Anna January."
I'm
no longer Starlight.
Yeah. She does that at the very end, after all the chaos of the episode. Because, like, we got the episode, of course, we got the Herogasm, so it's this big orgy of superhero people. And
a bunch of retiree superheroes. We get Legend.
The Deep goes there thinking that might be where
Soldier Boy is going to attack TNT.
Soldier Boy, is going to attack TNT. So he goes there with a message from Homelander to call him if Soldier Boy shows up. So Soldier Boy, Homelander can show up to stop Soldier Boy. I'm combining Homelander and Soldier Boy into Homeboy.
That's right. That's no Homeboy. No, and
oh man.
And they've got this full-on orgy going on, and Redbird is there, and of course, A-Train is still mad at Redbird because of the fact that he I think it's Redbird, Nightbird, something like that.
I think it's Blue Jay.
Something like that. Anyway, he crippled his brother. So Huey actually confronts A-Train, says he never did get his apology for his girlfriend, and A-Train turns around and actually gives him the apology, and you can tell he kind of means it because something happened to his brother, and he finally realizes, hey, wait a minute, I was a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Soups are assholes, me included.
Yeah, and he gave like an authentic apology to Huey.
And Huey didn't know what to do with it. I mean,
Huey didn't know what to do with it, and he still was really upset, and he punches him in the face, which hurts A-Train a little bit. He's like, how did you do that? Because he shouldn't be strong enough to, have an impact on A-Train.
Or to catch him unawares where he couldn't even duck because of his super speed. Right.
But then he ends up confronting Blue Jay, and they get into an argument. He gets so pissed off at Blue Jay, he knocks him down on his ass or whatever, and grabs him by the foot and takes off running at super speed, and drags him on the street to death. Yep. And so Blue Jay dies,
and his heart fucking explodes. Practically.
Yeah, his heart gives out, and he collapses.
We don't know if he's dead or not, but it looks like he had a heart attack at least.
Yeah,
he may or may not have died, but he had a heart attack.
Yeah, and then Soldier Boy does show up to the party, and he confronts the TNT twins. They try to attack him first, but they
Their
haven't used their
powers
powers
are
in so long.
atrophied.
Yeah, their power of atrophy. And then he does his old chest burst thing, blowing up like half of the house and killing like 11 soups or whatever.
Yeah.
Between people and soups, there was a mix of both.
MM and Starlight show up to try to stop Huey and Butcher from using Soldier Boy the way they were. And Huey's like, don't worry, we got Soldier Boy to promise not to do the collateral damage and stuff. He's just going to go after, these guys. And Starlight's like, no, you don't understand. Homelander's on his way. And when those two fight, everybody's going to fucking get killed.
Yeah.
And then Homelander shows up.
Yeah, he shows up after the explosion. And he before he finds Soldier Boy, he finds Butcher. Or no, he finds Butcher
and Soldier Boy at the same time
together.
Yeah.
And he's like, of course Butcher was behind all this.
He's like, Butcher, now didn't we have an agreement it was going to be me and you, mano a mano, just me versus you,
Yeah. And then he laser eyes Butcher and knocks him, to the ground, seemingly unconscious or whatever. Normally it would explode him, but it just knocked him out. And then him and Soldier Boy fight for a little bit. And then Butcher gets back up and he's
Butcher
like,
helps,
or whatever. And Homelander's like, what the fuck? Kind of a facial expression. He's so confused. It's like, how are you standing? Kind of a face.
It's, oi, you're a right cunt, aren't you?
Yeah, and then, so they fight. Huey joins in, so it's Huey and
Butcher
and Soldier Boy, all three fighting together against Homelander. And like Soldier Boy couldn't take him on his own, but the three together with the super serums that they each took, the three together are able to get him down, and they have him pinned down. And Soldier Boy's charging up a deliberate blast from his chest, and you can see, Homelander's actually getting scared for the first time in his life with his eyes going red and shit. But he manages to launch himself into the sky before they can get that blast off on him.
Well, doesn't he drag Soldier Boy with him?
No, I don't think so.
I
think he flies off on his own. No, because Soldier Boy walked out of the house after it was all over.
Okay.
He walked out of the house, and him and Starlight had a quick, exchange of looks. Before he walked away.
Right. But so anyway, but that's The Boys this week. Boys is getting more and more intense. I also got my girlfriend to watch The Boys Diabolica, so she could watch all those, so she could see all of those shorts.
I haven't watched those yet, but I hear
they're great. They're funny as hell.
Yeah,
you got to watch them.
I forgot they existed until a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, no, I watched them while waiting for the new season of The Boys to come out. Okay, now for the one that we've all been kind of waiting for, Miss Marvel. Oh my God. First off, my second theory on who the government people were came true. It was not Sword, like I thought, but I did not articulate it, but the other people I thought it might be, it ended up being, because it turned out to be the Department of Damage Control.
Yeah.
Which I used to read the Damage Control comics, so I was kind of excited to see Damage Control show up. And I knew Damage Control had already been introduced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they had even had talk for a while about possibly doing a series on them, but then it got canceled. Because Damage Control was a subsidiary of Stark Industries that had put Toomes out of business, and why he became the Vulture.
Yeah.
Because he was originally doing the salvage jobs, and then Damage Control took over for him, and then Toomes like, wait, that's bullshit. Why do they get to steal all of these superhero cleanup contracts? And that's why he started raiding the superheroes, the supervillain and alien tech, and turning it to his own stuff, and became the Vulture. Adrian Toomes. So Damage Control had showed up before, and then this is the second real showing of Damage Control in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. and the only one showing them with a real presence. Um, okay, we find out that the friend of hers that rescued her with the sports car at the end of the last episode is a descendant of the what do you call them? The basically the Jinn, but they're also called the I can't remember the exact term, and I know it too. It basically
Oh,
means
the clandestine.
clandestine. That's the word I couldn't think. The
Yeah.
clandestine, but they are basically the Jinn, which anybody who knows Hindi folklore knows that they're basically or plays Dungeons and Dragons knows that the Jinn are like the genies and the Ifrits and the Merid and they're the elemental spirits that some call demons of the desert. Folklore that's supposed to come from the actual elemental planes themselves. So the primal plane of fire and air and earth and water spawn these elemental spirits called the Jinn, and they're the stuff of Hindi nightmares. And that's where the Aladdin's genies and stuff come from, because the genies are just one of the subset of the Jinn family. And genie is the plural of Jinn anyway. And so she finds out that she's a Jinn. She's not an Asgardian, and she's not, one of the other kind of alien races that they've heard about. That she's descended from the Jinn, and so when she put on the armlet, it activated her native Jinn powers, but because she was born on Earth and not their dimension, she has more use of her powers after that than the clandestine that have been outcast to Earth, and they want to use her to open a hole back to their home dimension. They ET phone home.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and they're acting all nice, but then she talks to her buddy, and her tech buddy, and he looks and he finds out that they could probably do it, but the collateral energy that it's going to create is like the equivalent of like the energy of a sun, and so it could cause a lot of danger to her and possibly other things. So she says that she can do it, but she's gonna it's gonna take more time. She wants to help, but it's gonna take more time. Might be dangerous. And when her crush says that to his mother, she's like, "Of course it's going to be dangerous. It knew it was going to be dangerous." It's like, "But you were going to ever do it anyway." Says, "Yes, and we're going to make her do it." And it says, "No more Mr. and Mrs. Nice, Jinn." And so they're coming, and now she's at her brother's wedding, and you get to see some great Hindi Pakistani dancing, which I love. I love Pakistani cultural dancing and music, so that was a nice interlude. And then we get the clandestine breaking in, and so she hits the fire alarm. And so then we get a little bit of a battle scene. Not a lot of battle, but we get an okay little feel for battle, especially when her friend gets knocked over to the side through some chairs, and then she suddenly does a power particle fist with her energy form, which is reminiscent of her from the comic book when she does the big super fist, and then she just blasts across them and stuff. Her crush, it's not her boyfriend, but she wants him to be, kind of, does some chain fighting with a weighted chain, which is pretty badass. There's some lashes used. There's a little bit of Hindi style drunken fighting. There's a couple, because the one guy that had the headphones and stuff, he fights a little bit in the drunken style. So there's a lot of different like Hindi variation on martial arts. In fact, what's it? Kamala's, super punch and everything is even reminiscent of Dulcine's attacks in Street Fighter. The one Hindi fighter in Street Fighter, how he has the stretchy arms and legs.
Yeah.
So it's kind of reminiscent of that. So it even goes along with Pakistani type and Hindi type myth there. I just made that connection, really. But it's a great episode. And then her one cousin finds out, the one that was running for a seat on the board of the mosque, which is, basically leadership of their Pakistani community. She gets her seat on the mosque, partly because she stands up to damage control and knows her shit when it comes to legalities and needing search warrants and stuff, and gets in their face about it. At least I think that's part of the reason she probably got voted in. But she did get voted onto the council. But she finds out that Kamala is basically Nightlight, and that's the name she hates of the superhero name we tried to remember from last time.
Nightlight. Yeah.
Nightlight. She didn't. Yeah, it's a stupid name.
I wouldn't be happy with that either.
It's a stupid name. It's a childish name. But but she finds out, and she's kind of hurt because she thinks that the member of the community doing that reflects bad on the community. They're just causing more trouble than they're solving. But Kamala has to run because she's being chased, and Bruno gets helped off by this cousin, and Bruno basically offers to explain things, but he's like, "Yes, did you need help?" He says, "Oh yeah, I do," and because he's barely able to stand leaning against her, and that's kind of where we cut it. So Kamala's like just shows back up to her family. And it's like, "Kamala, did you set off the fire alarm? And we're your family. But you need to tell us." I'm trying to do their accent. I'm sorry. It's just a natural thing for me to do. I'm not being mocking or anything. I actually love their accent.
Yeah.
And they basically cut it after that, but with her saying no, she can't tell them. The only other thing is she got her mask in this episode because Bruno made her a custom mask, so she doesn't have to wear the Captain Marvel helmet anymore when she goes out to fight, so she can slowly start building towards her own costume and not just a variation on Captain Marvel's, even though she still totally worships Carol Danvers in the show. So I'm massively looking forward to the next episode of Miss Marvel. It does coincidentally have the lowest viewership of any of the Marvel shows so far to come out.
Yeah.
But there's a few different things that probably relate to it. One is it's not portraying white Anglo-Saxon kind of things. And so there might be some negativity there, which disappoints me because people should not be doing it.
That is actually, I think that's pretty verifiable to be the case.
Yeah, it is.
It is. The viewership is up in all categories except for in white households.
Yeah, because especially Hispanic and Black demographics are really high on the viewership, but the viewership is way down in the standard white Anglo, which is a lot of the Nielsen families.
And the white viewership is down by so much that it's caused it to be the lowest viewed Marvel show, despite all the other ethnicities watching it more.
Right. But the other thing, it's not just that, though, that is affecting it. It is, yes, the white, but it's also the fact that it's a lesser-known character that has not, as of yet, had a movie pre-tie-in or anything. At least Loki had appeared in the movies first, and Wanda and Vision had appeared in the movies first, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier had appeared in the movies first. Oh, and it also has a brand new actor where Moon Knight had Isaac, who is a well-known actor. Oscar Isaac. So it had those things going against it as well. Another thing with the Anglo audience is some of them get put off by the Pakistani soundtrack for the Pakistani music. Kind of throws them off. Doesn't seem like it's something that appeals. I personally love it. I love the Pakistani culture that is reflected, and I think it's a good reflection of Moss culture and stuff. So, from my understanding of Moss culture, and I think I like it and everything, but I'm disappointed in a lot of the Anglo-centrics out there that can't open and broaden their minds and appreciate it. Hopefully, however, its good reputation is going to spread, and the fact that they're just so well written and well played that it's going to have a reversal as it bleeds into that, and its numbers are going to go up. That's what I'm hoping, because it is a really, and a lot of people I've seen on the web have called it the best of the Marvel shows, even though it's using an unknown actress as Kamala Khan, and it's a very lesser known character, and it is centered on a different ethnicity than most shows, because right now, of course, predominantly we've got Anglo heroes. But then second to that, we get a lot of African American or Asian or Hispanic, because those are the next biggest minorities out there. But especially, unfortunately, there's a huge negativity towards Hindi Muslim types out there, which is not deserved. I mean, yes, there are negatives, but there are negative people in every culture. So you do not paint all cultures completely with one brush. And that negativity is hopefully going to be overcome as the quality of the show leaks out and people start to say, hey, did you see this? Oh, I'm not watching it. You should watch it anyway. And people will come back and they'll give it a try, and they're going to see that this is a great show. I think you probably agree with that, right, Lurch?
Yeah.
This show is awesome. And there's a lot of people saying it's one of the best of the Marvel offerings. And that's saying something, because WandaVision was phenomenal. Loki was outstanding. Moon Knight was, probably the worst of them was Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it was good.
Yeah.
What If was great. We've gotten some great shows out of Marvel, especially since Feige took over the television arm. And I'm only expecting more and better. I can't wait till She-Hulk Attorney at Law comes out. I really can't wait till She-Hulk Attorney at Law comes out. And I can't wait to see the rest of this, and I wish it had more episodes coming, because I don't want it to end.
Yeah, there's
really 3 more episodes.
Yeah, 3 more episodes.
Yeah, and that sucks in my opinion, because I want like 9 or 12 or 20 episodes, like a full series. But we're not getting that as of yet. Maybe by season 2 or season 3 of some of these Disney shows, we'll start to get a full series complement and start getting the 18 to 22 episodes that we get from other shows. But then again, like you've said previously, and it's very true, sometimes the story arc that they're telling just doesn't need that many episodes. And you don't want to have them falsely inflated either. You don't want 6 or 7 extra episodes of nothing content. If they can do it in 6 episodes elegantly, don't try to force it into 12. So we'll see. Did I leave anything real important out of this one? I rewatched it again too today.
Her friend, her best friend, is really upset. Her best friend discovered that she has powers and is not
Why
like,
I said that at
oh
the
yeah,
end. Yeah, her cousin,
yeah, her cousin. Yeah, that's it, her cousin, and she's really upset. Um,
as she
and
carried
then
Bruno off of the.
her parents are mad at her because they figured out that she's the one who pulled the fire alarm, but she's not telling them why.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah,
And she said she couldn't say. That's when I went into the
yeah,
accident.
yeah. And
Uh,
then she talked to her grandma. Oh, at some
oh, I
point
left
she had
that
a,
out.
so
Yes.
at some point she had a in the fight against like the leader of the clandestine. She saw an image of like a train that said had a city name on the train, like Kakashi, something like that. I don't remember. And then she got a call from her grandma when she got home, or nanny or whatever, who like
Nana,
you Nana, who's like you have to come here. You saw the train, right?
you saw the dream.
You saw the train. Well, you saw the train in a dream or something. The vision of the
Yeah.
train.
She said, you saw the
But
dream, Kamala. I saw it too. You have to come to Caracas.
yeah,
Yes.
Karaka. Yeah,
Yes. And then it says, but Mama will not let me. Bring her too. You both come. Must, I keep falling into the accent. And again, that's not mockery. It's because I love the accent. And I'm trying to imitate the character because I'm a mimic. So we know that in the next episode, she's going to somehow convince her mother to take her to Caracas to talk to her Nana, who is the one that sent her the bangle in the first place, and who I guess saw the dream herself when she put on the bangle. And so, because I guess it's her great grandmother was the clandestine. And so she's a descendant of the Jinn, and we're going to get more information on that. We should also see more of damage control as the series goes forward.
Did you mention that these Jinn are all like 100 years old, except for
Yeah, well, yeah,
the
they're
17-year-old?
yeah, except for the 17-year-old boy. Yeah, they're. I didn't mention that, no, but they had admitted that they'd been around for, and she said that the light, the lumen, which means light,
Yeah,
energy that they harness keeps them young, but they don't have
yeah,
full use of their powers. But her being born on this dimension,
yeah,
the bangle unlocked her ability to use the full lumen. And they're saying that something else might unlock the same thing with the 17-year-old, but they haven't found whatever that might be yet. They also said that there's actually two of those bangles, so maybe the other bangle would do it. If they find the other bangle, maybe that'll unlock his powers at some point. But that maybe only one person's powers can be unlocked at a time or something. So she can't just give them the bangle and unlock their powers to do what they need to be done.
yeah.
But we'll find out more in the next episode. I'm chomping
Yep.
at the bit. I'll find out
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yes,
Find out tomorrow.
stay tuned tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be like with bated breath. And then, of course,
Yeah.
Friday I'll watch the new episode of The Boys. Now, I think, did we have anything else? Oh, yeah. We're only going to mention a little bit cursory. We're already over in time. I have not actually gotten to the third season of Umbrella Academy because I rewatched the whole second season, and I'm actually on episode 10, was starting just as I had to leave to come start getting ready for the show. So, I'm about to watch the last episode of season 2. Then I can go into season 3, and I can see how they rolled in the gender reassignment of one character into the show. We can see how they kind of come together and progress in the final arc from the comic books. All I can say is we have to applaud them in folding in the gender reassignment into the show. It shows an awakened outlook and an acceptance that is refreshing, I think, because we need to accept more people for being who they are inside and out. We do need to acknowledge it's not a choice, it's actually who they are. And we got to let people be who they are. And it's none of our business to tell them who they are. It's their business. And this is a success in no other way than in how it reflects that. And from what I understand, they were very open about that and how they adapted everything to make sure it works. So that's great. And we will be covering more of this next week as I go into season 3. And I don't know if you've watched all of season 3 already.
Yeah,
You've already watched the whole thing.
Yeah. It's funny. I didn't watch the first 2 seasons until a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I didn't see a single episode until, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago, and then I binge watched both of the first 2 seasons over the course of like 4 days.
I would be all the way through it if it wasn't for the fact that I'd also picked up on Downtown Abbey again and started it over from the very beginning because of their new movie. So I had an extra catch up to do.
Yeah.
If you'd had that, you'd have been even further behind than me because I get more time to watch TV than you do.
Yeah.
And then next week, we will have this. We will also have the final 2 episodes of Stranger Things.
When does that come out?
The first Friday.
Ooh, yeah.
Yep. So we get the final 2 extended episodes of Stranger Things. We'll be covering the Umbrella Academy next week. We'll be covering the rest of the finales for the Arrowverse shows next week. Something else is getting ready to premiere on the 1st, and I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But I recently saw something. So don't be surprised if I come up with a couple of them that we're not even thinking about. Because we got more and more coming. Oh, there's a new Chris Pratt show coming out on one of the networks that I think is opening on July 1st.
A Chris Pratt show?
Yeah, I think it's Chris Pratt. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
But I just saw a commercial for it today. But it's supposed to come out on July 1st. So we're going to have another media intensive episode next week. But we will have some topics next week. Next week will not be as media centric as this week because we won't have Obi-Wan to finish. And, well, that's really the only thing we're not going to have.
Yeah, like Obi-Wan's the only thing we won't have to talk about. But if we're going to talk about, we'll have 2 episodes of Stranger Things and then the whole season of Umbrella Academy.
We might not do other topics next week. It might just be total media show again. Hey, what's up, Miles Betta? How you doing? Bring on Stranger Things. Yep, I'm totally with you there, Miles Betta. Bring on the Stranger Things. We are so ready for this. We want to see Vecna get his comeuppance.
Yeah.
And we want to see the lead-in for what is supposed to be the final season of Stranger Things, which will be next season. Season 5 is supposed to be the last season of Stranger Things. And so I'm anxious for season 4's completion. Then we can start the long wait till season 5. Why did Obi-Wan have to finish so soon? Right? Well, I mean, a lot of the Disney series are only doing 6 episodes. Would you guys recommend Umbrella to watch? I've never seen before. Yes, Definitely watch The Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
It is so worth it. I'm rewatching season 2. I'm about to finish rewatching 2 so I can binge watch season 3. Lurch just binge watched 1 and 2 and 3 recently, so
Yeah.
he marathoned 3 seasons in one big chunk.
It's pretty great. I loved it.
It's
If you
worth
like,
it.
okay, so to not give away spoilers about Umbrella Academy, kind of think of like if you like Doom Patrol. In a way, they're kind of like Doom Patrol, only they're kind of the reverse. Where Doom Patrol was a group of people who got brought together slowly over time, um, and have a lot of mayhem and self-serving attitudes amongst them. And so they're kind of chaotic. Umbrella Academy started off being raised together as a family, and then broke apart, and now are being forced to come back together, reluctantly. But while stuff is going on, they're not functioning as a superhero team. They have superhero powers. They were a team a long time ago, but now they all just kind of want to do what they want to do.
Think elements of Heroes too, because like number 5's power is very similar to Hiro Nakamura's, because he can teleport and also do time dilation.
They're also a lot more. I think they're overall more powerful than Doom Patrol was, and they have more training because they grew up. They all know how to fight.
Trained
from
childhood.
From birth.
But they've got a ghost member. They've got a guy who can talk to ghosts as his primary power, who's also a drug-addled freaking hippie. Sounds good. Like in terms of individual characters' storylines, are they any different and authentic? Yeah. Oh, and they are so different and unique individuals.
And this is part of why I was saying they don't really function much as a team.
They're
a
team that doesn't team up.
Yeah, I mean,
they do occasionally team up.
But you have this character that wants to do this, and he goes off and he doesn't tell the siblings what he's doing, and they just keep splitting up and doing whatever they want to do, and they have they keep trying to come together to work together, but then they just they can't agree on how to handle things, and then they split apart and do whatever they want to do, and
and number 5 is kind of the leader of the group, even though he's a leader because he is chronologically the oldest, although he's in the youngest body because he's locked himself in a younger body.
Yeah.
Number 1 was assigned as the leader by the guy who adopted them, but his only power is super strength. So Luther is not necessarily the leader figure. Number 5 is because he's got foreknowledge from being traveling up and down the timelines.
And even then, calling him a leader is not very, very good.
Instigator.
He doesn't do a whole lot of leading. He tells people what they need to do, but then whether or not they listen,
and moans when they don't do it.
It's hit or miss, and then oftentimes he doesn't tell them a lot of what needs to be told them. So that's about all I want to share about that.
But like you said, a lot of superhero movies can be very cliche and same. Sadly, I think that number 1 in
is Luther.
Black Sails, I believe. Good actor. Yeah, number 1 is the tall one at the picture that I've got showing. That basically the bullseye hits on his head. He's number 1, and his main thing is he's basically a big ape. He's got strength. Allison, the one in the front, she's got the power.
Don't give away all their powers. Don't give away all the details about who they are or what they can do.
I mean, quick overview of powers. I don't want to give all of it away.
I mean, Miles has never seen the show, so I'm just thinking, give him enough to know that it should be an interesting show, and then let him or her.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with Ben in season 3. I'm not going to spoil it by saying what happens, but considering how Ben ended the season, I am interested to see how they handle Ben in season 3. Mm-hmm. Number 2. Anyway, I think no, he's number 6, isn't he? Ben is number 6. That's right. Diego's number 2. Diego's 2. Allison's 3. Klaus is
Klaus is 4.
4. 5 is 5. And
Yeah.
Vanya is 7.
Yeah, I'm at 7.
So Ben must be 6. Yeah, Ben is number 6. Because as far as their father was concerned, they didn't have names. They ended up getting names later, but we don't even ever hear 5's name. He's just called 5.
Oh, he doesn't have a name.
Yeah.
So they all develop names
after
I don't
5.
Give away anything.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, but yeah, he's just number 5. That's his name.
After 5 became who he is, and that's all I'll say. Yeah, we will cover more of it next week.
Yeah.
I'll start watching very soon. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Hopefully by next stream I can share thoughts. Hey, well, we'll be here next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Barring any real world complications.
Yeah.
I've got better internet now too, so our streams are going a lot smoother.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're after time by 14 minutes. We did the big media show we said we're going to do. Next week is probably, unless we've got something really late breaking news, it's going to be all media next week again. We're probably not going to go into a lot of other stuff next week. For those who are interested, it is still Pride Month, and the Lebanon Pride Picnic is this Sunday in Lebanon. So come out to support Pride. We're very supportive and inclusive here. Sorry for speaking over your time. Hey, we like having you here, Miles. I've actually even been streaming some beta testing of Fractured lately. So if you guys do tune into the channel, other than for game time, I also stream beta test of Fractured Online, which is MMO. If you type exclamation MMO in the chat channel, you can get a link to the Fractured website and check that out. It's one of them that I kickstarted. I did not do a Kickstarter recommendation this week. I might at least pull up a Kickstarter recommendation for next week. Depends on what the rest of our talking points look like, and if there is another show that we got to include. But I can usually at least maybe I'll squeeze one of those in instead of a vault entry next week. But we'll be doing mostly a media show again next week. So you can catch us here. Don't forget that the Gaming Arts Media Entertainment Expo is here in Springfield at the Springfield Expo Center on the 14th, 15th, and 16th of October. $10 gets you in for the whole weekend. You can see me and Lurch there. Come by, say hi, play some games, have some fun, dress up in costume. We love to see you. Say hi to Lurch's cat, who's on the screen right now, visiting us. My cat's not right now. I got the door closed. He can't even get in. But we'll catch everybody next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. May your dice rolls be 20s, your fumbles be epic, your finishing moves be bloody, and have a great day, everybody.
Over. Bye.
Curses for living on the other side of the world. Yeah, I'd love to see you at our con, Miles. Have a good night.